Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Project Ozone Lite. We're back. It's been a while since the last episode. I think it's been just over a week, maybe 2 weeks since the last episode, which is way too long. For those who don't know, I've been streaming almost every day over on Twitch to raise money as part of our December live streams that we do every year. And so my time to do Project Ozone stuff has been a little tight, but hopefully we can get back to some more regular videos now that those streams are done. And so, before we get started with what I want to work on in today's episode, I thought I'd do a quick recap of what we did in the last episode because it has been a little while, and we are also getting quite a lot of Enderman, which is strange. We do have our Enderman charm on, which is always nice, and so we can very easily here probably get a good couple of Ender Pearls. I do love that this thing kills in 2 hits. It actually makes life so much easier, and having the Enderman not, I say 2 hits and then it takes me 3 hits, and also not having the Enderman fight back is just 10 out of 10. I love it. So what we did in the last episode is we started by setting up this system over here, our dust creation and sifting system. All of our cobblestone generated by our cobblestone generator goes into a sag mill, which turns it into gravel. That gravel then gets sent to another sag mill, which then turns it into sand. That sand then gets sent over and across into our mechanical user, which then places it down for the other mechanical user to break. I have gone ahead and made 9 diamond hammers between episodes and put them in every slot here so that hopefully we don't have to spend too much time micromanaging this kind of throughout the episodes, because before we just had the one, I think, iron hammer in there, and it broke pretty quick. I could keep putting stone hammers in there, and they are fairly cheap, but I figured fill it with diamond hammers, just let it do its thing, and we'll come back in like maybe 5-10 episodes time and replace it when we notice that we're kind of running out of stuff from dust. Eventually we will automate this with probably applied energistics, which is something that I do want to get into in today's episode, and so we might actually automate this soon, but like hopefully before the diamond hammers run out. That would be optimal, but it might be a bit too optimistic. Nevertheless, all of the dust is collected by the hopper, sent through into the basic drawer, and then pulled on out through the item duct up and into another mechanical user, which of course then sifts them. And at the end of last episode, the very end of last episode, we started looking a little bit into mystical agriculture, because I wanted to start on the Energistics Revolution questline. I wanted to get into a little bit of applied energistics, but to do that, you have to make the 4 presses required in order to make some of the processes from applied energistics. Now, people in the comment section did point out that if we go through the main questline here, through the Welcome to Light questline, and I believe it's once we beat the Wither, we unlock the ability to go to the mining dimension. Let me quickly check here. I think at Aroma, is it the tool that is hard to make? I think we get this as a reward maybe, and thus allowing us to go through into the mining dimension, which is basically the overworld, which is quite cool, especially when you're in a skyblock. And so once we've unlocked that, we can go and find the normal meteors that you would find for applied energistics too, but I don't really want to fight the Wither just yet, and I think it's going to be easier if we just craft these using mystical agriculture, because we can actually do it fairly easily. So, last episode, at the very end of last episode, we set up a new mob killing system. Not the best, not the biggest, but it works. It's a little box with fans at the back. I think I did expand out just a little bit. It's been a while for me since the end of last episode as well, and so I'm trying to jog my own memory as to where we were, but I did expand out just a little bit, because it wasn't symmetrical in the middle here. So I added an extra line to this side, so the bridge is a little wider, and then I also made the mob spawner just a bit wider as well, made an extra fan, so it's all nice and symmetrical now. And you can see I've tried to organize all of the mob drops into their own storage drawer. I do think we're picking everything up. I don't think there are any mob drops that we're not getting, at least not that I know of. We did have a little bit of a problem with spiders. They take a little while to die, because they can kind of get trapped in this bottom section here. They're not quite 2 blocks tall. And then also baby zombies tend to get stuck at the bottom here, although I can see a loot bag right there. I did have a little bit of an issue with loot bags because for whatever reason, they don't stack in the same way as normal items. So for a normal item, you can hold up to 64 stacks in a big storage drawer and then up to 16 stacks of each item in the smaller storage drawer. But for whatever reason, I couldn't hold more than 8 loot bags in each storage drawer. Not quite sure why that is, but I had to go ahead and make some upgrades for all of the drawers that hold loot bags, because otherwise all of the extra loot bags were going into extra drawers and taking up too much space. But we do have a bunch of loot bags now, and hopefully in the coming episodes we can actually start to automate the process of opening those so that we don't have to go through and do it all manually. But we do have 36 legendary loot bags, and so I might actually go and open a few of those. I'm not going to do it just yet. mostly because we don't have the storage space to do it, but we might get into doing some of that in today's episode. But the important part of this is that we now have 609 of this Inferium Essence, which is more than enough for us to make the Certus Quartz seeds required for us to get into Applied Energistics. And so, let me grab like 3 stacks of those, which also apparently completes a quest, although I'm fairly certain we had already completed that quest, although... Oh no, we needed a stack of it. Okay, let's go ahead and complete that. What do we get in our loot box? Something nice. We got 4 carrot pluses again. Still not quite sure if they're any use outside of food. They do have haste 9, which I guess is quite nice. But for now, we'll just whack those back into there. So, now that we've got ourselves 4 stacks of Inferium Essence, let us see about crafting up a bunch of this here. So there are a few tiers. Did we make an infusion crystal in the last episode? I don't think that we did. We did not, at least not one that I can see. Oh no, we did. We totally did. Okay, so let's take that. Let's throw that in the middle. And then if we do something like this, that's going to go ahead and get us 16 Prudentium Essence. How much do we need of this? We need 4 Intermedium Essence, which needs only 4 of that. Although I'm fairly certain we need more for something else in a second here, because we do need to make... Oh yeah, we need to make 4 of those. So that's 1, 2, and then... 3 and 4. So 4 is going to get us enough to make the seed, but we then do also have to make the tier 3 crafting seed, which requires a tier 2 crafting seed, which requires a tier 1 crafting seed, which we did make at the end of last episode. And so we need 4 more to get to tier 2, and then we need another 16 to get that, another 16 of the Prudentium to get the tier 2 seed to a tier 3 seed with the Intermedium Essence. It's a bit of a... I'm making this a lot more complicated than it needs to be. Essentially, all we have to do is something like that, and I believe that should be more than enough for us to go ahead and complete this, because we need 4 for this, and then we need just that, I think. So let me see here. Do we have everything it takes? If I put you... Oh, no, that's not a tier 1 crafting seed. Okay, so we need to first of all make one of these, which I think we might have already done. Yes, we did. We got base crafting seeds right there. And so if we just craft up that with some Inferium, and then some of the tier 2, and then finally some of the tier 3, I believe that we are good to go. Let me quickly grab some Certus Quartz seeds. Helps you get 4, and then boom, boom, and boom. Nice, we got ourselves our first Certus Quartz seeds. Cool. So, now if we go back to the presses real quick, to make each of these, you need a different item in the center, and then surrounding that, you need 8 Certus Quartz Essence. And so to get all 4 of these presses, we are going to need 32 Certus Quartz Essence. Now, I don't know if you remember in the last episode, it took us quite a while. Once we planted the seed, we could stand there with the watering can, but it took a flipping heck of a long time to get any of that stuff done. And so what I think I'm going to do in today's episode, just in the interest of time, is first of all, grab my iron hoe, but I would also like to use some of this magical fertilizer that we've got as well to make this so much quicker. So if we throw down our seed like that, do we have our watering can on us? We don't. Is it in here? It's not. Did I miss it over here? I did. All right, so if we grab this, as I've just mentioned, it's pretty slow. And outside of making more Certus Quartz seeds, which we definitely could do now, we've definitely got what it takes in terms of Inferium Essence to make a few more of these. But again, in the interest of speed, what we can do is just use 1 mystical fertilizer to fully grow that and then harvest it to get 1 essence. We don't quite have 32 mystical fertilizer, and so we are going to have to use the watering can a little bit if we want to get all of the 32 required here. But we did get 3 fertilized essence back, and actually, yeah, we could always go ahead and make some more of this real quick. What is the recipe without fertile essence? It's 4 bone meal, 4 Inferium, and 1 diamond. You know what? Just again, in the interest of making this as fast as we possibly can, so you don't have to sit and watch me use the watering can for a few minutes, let me go ahead and just shift click in some of that. That's going to get us 6 more, which is more than enough to get us above the 32 Certus Quartz Essence required. And so, now that we've got those, we need a diamond, we need an emerald, we need, I believe, a piece of Certus Quartz, and then finally, I think, just some silicon, which I think we should have in here somewhere, because we made a bunch of it in our sag mill, I believe. I'm sure we had like a bunch of silicon, because I think I put a stack of compressed sand into my sag mill, but I have no idea where that's gone. So let me just quickly grab what I think is a block of compressed sand out of that chest, throw it into there, and that should get us at least a couple of pieces worth of silicon. And actually, now that I mention it, we are going to need quite a bit in the way of silicon in today's episode because we need them for every single one of the processes that we're going to make. And so let me just quickly whip up a little bit more in the way of compressed sand and let the sag mill do its business. So if we do something like this, as well as this, is that not one? It might be charged. This? Nope. Okay, apparently my memory is actually terrible. Oh, it might be gold and iron, maybe? Let me check here. Press. So, calculation is, we need a pure Certus quartz crystal, of course. We then need a diamond, we need a gold ingot, and we also need a piece of silicon. So, I can do the gold ingot very easily, like so. But in order to get the pure Certus quartz crystal, did I just make 2 of those? I didn't. But it did use up all of my essence? Oh, did I craft them? No. Oh, no, I crafted. I hate that. You shift click out to craft the recipe, but then it's also crafted the recipe without the middle item, and so it's made me 6 Certus quartz crystals without the item in the middle, and so we've just wasted some of that Certus quartz essence. That is annoying. It means I'm going to have to go ahead and either make some more fertilizer or do some more watering, but we'll get to that in a second. For now, we need to get ourselves a pure Certus quartz crystal, and thankfully, I think it's going to be quite easy for us to do so, because in order to make those, what you have to do is you have to throw a Certus quartz seed into a puddle of water and leave it for a certain length of time. Now, the length of time it takes depends on how many of these crystal growth accelerators you have adjacent to that block of water. However, we do have the A2 Stuffs mod installed, and I think we can go in and just straight away make the crystal growth chamber, which is quite expensive. It does require 6 of these crystal growth accelerators, but once we've got this, we don't have to worry about throwing it in water at all, and it's also much quicker than making all of these, putting them all down, and then throwing in the seed just to wait like a few minutes for it to craft up into a pure Certus quartz crystal. And so to make this, we need a chest, we need a hopper, we need 6 crystal growth accelerators, which are made with iron, quartz glass, which is really easy. It's just glass and Certus quartz. I think I even started smelting up some glass in preparation for this. I did indeed. And so we can go ahead and make quite a bit of that fairly easily, especially because we've got over 6,000 Certus quartz essence over in our storage drawer. And so making 12 of these, we don't need 12 batches, we just need 12 in total. So 24 is more than enough. We'll take all of those. We can then get some Fluix blocks. These are made by crafting together 4 Fluix crystals, which can be made by throwing charged Certus quartz, nether quartz, and redstone dust into a puddle, aka into some water. And again, we've now got almost 5,000 redstone, so I'll take a stack of redstone. I think our only short supply is nether quartz, but I'll take all the nether quartz that we have, as well as a stack of charged Certus quartz. And so if we throw all of those into water like so, we should get just shy of 2 stacks of Fluix crystals, which should be more than enough to cover us at least for today's episode, and probably for the next few episodes as well. So back over here, each one of these requires a Fluix block, and so we are going to have to go ahead and make at least 6 Fluix blocks here. We can't craft those back, so it doesn't matter too much if we craft too many of those. We then finally need 2 Emmy glass cable dash Fluix. To make this, you need more of these Fluix crystals, as well as some quartz fiber, which is just glass and Certus quartz dust, which we have in abundance. And so if I quickly get rid of some of the stuff that I don't need in my inventory, craft up a couple of these, and then craft up a couple of sets of Fluix cable, I think we should now be able to make all of the base crystal growth accelerators, like so. Nice. And then finally, all we need now is a chest and a hopper. We might already have a chest lying around, but if we don't, it's not really too big of a deal. 1, 2, we've already got the iron, which is good. Boom. Boom, and finally, oh, we need another chest, don't we? Of course, because I need one for the actual chest, and then one for the hopper. Boom. Nice. So, I'm not 100% certain as to whether or not this requires a energy acceptor. So if I put this here, it may or may not receive power. I'm not too certain. Let me quickly, is it just this? Oh no, do we have any sand? We should do. I just saw some disappear into there. Let me quickly grab a piece of sand here. Is the recipe this and this? It is indeed. That gets us a Certus quartz seed. And so now if I put that into here, it's not working because I think it's offline, and I believe it's offline because a lot of the stuff from Applied Energistics cannot accept redstone flux as a power source. Instead, you need an energy acceptor to transfer that redstone flux into AE, which is a unit of power used by Applied Energistics. Thankfully, the energy acceptor is super easy to make, and so if I was to go ahead and do something like, let's move this real quick. I don't want to break any of my stuff with this carbon pickaxe, but we'll get rid of that. We'll put you like that so the energy acceptor can start to get power from our generators as well as from our capacitor banks, and then finally throw this down right about there. That should start to get power. I might have to set this side to output real quick in order for that to work. But now if we come back in here, you can see the Certus Quartz seed is growing really quickly. It's almost at 100%. If you were to try and do this without any crystal growth accelerators at all, if you just threw it into some water and waited for it to grow, it would take multiple hours, I think like 3 or 4 hours, to actually turn from a seed into a pure Certus Quartz crystal. If you put it into the crystal growth chamber like that, it takes mere seconds. I love it. And so now all we have to do is make up for the mistakes that we made earlier. And to do that, I'm just going to quickly grab 1, 2, 3 more diamonds. I don't think we're quite going to need that many, but that's fine. As well as a bit of bone meal. And then, of course, I think we already have some inferium essence in our inventory. We do indeed. So let me just do this, grab those, and then 9 again should be more than enough to get us all of the essence here. And finally, we can do this and this. Nice. And that gets us the 4th and final press, which is the Inscriber calculation press. So now that we've got all of those, the next thing that we need to work on is, first of all, getting stuff out of our inventory and into the storage drawers, of which we might need to get a few more. I thought I had one for ender pearls, but actually, now that I think about it, it's over here by the mob drops. At some point, we are going to have to hook that up to our Emmy system. But for now, what we need to make is the Inscriber. This is going to allow us to use all of those presses to actually make some processes. Now, again, we do have the normal Inscriber from Applied Energistics and the advanced Inscriber from A2 Stuff. Now, to make this, we do need 2 engineering processes, but I don't think that this is going to be too hard for us to make. So we do have to start with the basic Inscriber, and to get this, we need 5 iron ingots, 2 sticky pistons, and then 1 fluix crystal, which of course we already have. Now, getting a sticky piston might be a bit of a pain. I don't think that we have any slime whatsoever. However, I do think that a couple of mobs have wandered over into the smeltery, and so we do now have 460 millibuckets worth of blood. And so, if I were to quickly grab my casting table, which apparently we don't have, but we can make very easily using some of our seared brick here, what we should be able to do is pull out, I think, 120 millibuckets worth of that blood into the casting table, and that should give us a piece of congealed blood, which acts as a slime ball. I am going to go ahead and turn magnet mode on real quick just so that I don't lose this casting basin. Thank you very much. And so if we do this, make sure blood is at the bottom like that, and then pull out like so, it should go ahead and turn into a congealed ball. We do, of course, need 2 of those. You can see we do still have 140 millibuckets left. It is actually 160 millibuckets, not 120. But nevertheless, we've now got 2 balls of congealed blood, which you can eat, but I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend you do is grab some wood, and then also grab some cobblestone, which is, of course, over here. And then we should be able, fairly easily, I did just see some stuff flying out there. Is our sifting system broken? Or do we just not have... How did that fly out like that? Oh my goodness, it's going real far. What the heck? Oh, it's magnet mode. The magnet mode is causing these to fly everywhere. Okay, let me turn magnet mode off real quick. Also, it would seem that we need more space in our storage drawers, because it looks like we are running out of space for bone meal and also for the crushed nether quartz. And so we are going to have to put those up a little bit. And actually saying that, it might not be a terrible idea to put some void upgrades into those as well. That's probably what's causing most of the issue. But nevertheless, let me quickly see if I can't get this Inscriber up and running. We need some redstone and I need some iron. Let me quickly get rid of some stuff. I'll take 2 of you, and kaboom. That gets us 2 pistons. We can then go ahead and craft those pistons with our congealed blood, like so. And then finally, we just need some iron, which I thought we might have had, but I think I put it back when I used the draw controller. And so now that we've got this, much like with the crystal growth chamber over here, we do have to put it next to our energy acceptor. And now what we can do is we can actually start to make some of the processes from Applied Energistics 2. And we're going to start with 2 of these engineering processes just so we can move very quickly into the advanced Inscriber. And so to make this, we need 1 printed silicon, 1 printed engineering circuit, and 1 redstone. Printed silicon is made with the Inscriber silicon press and silicon, and then the printed engineering circuit is made with the engineering press and a diamond. So let me quickly grab all of our presses out of here, as well as, of course, getting the silicon out of here and a couple of diamonds out of our storage drawers. And so now this thing is probably going to be a little slow to begin with. We'll start with the silicon press and a bit of silicon. It doesn't make them particularly fast, and it also doesn't allow you to put more than 1 item in this stack, and so you can't really backlog the Inscriber. I can't just put in 35 pieces of silicon, walk away, and then come back and get 35 printed silicon out of it. What I can do is I could put a hopper here on the left-hand side, and then have that feed silicon constantly into the Inscriber. But one of the benefits of the Advanced Inscriber is that you don't have to bother with that. The Advanced Inscriber lets you put up to a stack of items in each slot, I guess apart from the press slot up there. Although you might be able to put a stack of stuff in there, I'm not quite sure. But it does make life just a little bit easier. You don't have to kind of micromanage it quite as much. And so any second now, once this is done, I think we are running out of power a little bit. Of all things, you'll notice that our sag mills are kind of flickering on and off because I don't think we're quite producing enough power with these 6 magmatic generators. And so we are going to have to spend a little bit of time adding a couple more of these to the setup, which shouldn't be too hard now that we've got a decent source of power coming in. But there you go. That's going to get us the printed silicon, which we can then put back into the top slot like so with some... Oh, sorry, the printed engineering circuit. This is the printed silicon. Let me throw that sand on the floor here to make some room, and then we put some redstone in the middle, which I don't have. Let me quickly make some room in my inventory. Flipping it, we're carrying around a lot of stuff that we don't need to carry around. Also, we got nether quartz dust because we don't have space for it. Don't need to carry a lot of this stuff here around, at least not for now. Let me quickly grab some redstone, and we should be able to go ahead and craft up 2 of these engineering processes. And once we've got both of those, we can head on back up, grab ourselves 2 hoppers, and what else do we need? Just the Inscriber and some iron, and we are good to go. So let me actually grab this thing real quick before we head on back up, because we're not going to use it anymore going forward. Instead, what we're going to do, we're going to grab enough wood to make 2 chests. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've already got some iron, but I did put it away. So a stack of iron real quick. Something like this and this, if I can craft correctly. And then boom, boom, 2 hoppers. And I think we are good to go. Nice. That's going to get us the Advanced Inscriber, which I don't think is any faster by default. I think it runs at the same speed as the previous Inscriber, but as I mentioned a second ago, it does allow you to stack items. And so, if I was to come and grab some of that silicon that I just dropped off in here, is it in a storage drawer? I don't see it in any of my storage drawers, but I seem to be losing it. Let me have a look here. Silly. Am I blind? I might be completely blind, but I have lost more silicon. I think it's going into one of the storage drawers. We've got diamonds, emeralds, coal, lapis, glowstone, blaze powder, nether quartz. I don't see it. I don't think we have any more, unless it's managed to get into one of these, which it hasn't. And all of these are not actual storage drawers. These are just trims. And so it shouldn't be able to get into those. I have no idea where my silicon is going. Am I, like, dropping it? Or putting it into, like, another chest somehow? I don't know. But anyway, let me quickly get some more silicon then through some more compressed sand. And then while we're waiting for that to compress up, we can always go ahead and start making some logic processes because those are the ones that we're probably going to use the most. And so for those, we need gold and the logic press, which is this guy right here. And as I mentioned before, what we can do now is we can just put a whole stack of gold into the Inscriber, and it's going to work through and turn those into the logic circuits, which we can then, of course, use to make those logic processes. Now, one thing we can do in order to make these faster is make some acceleration cards. These are going to increase the speed at which the Advanced Inscriber here operates, and to make those, it's actually fairly easy. We need 1 Fluix crystal and then 1 advanced card. The advanced card requires 2 diamonds, 1 redstone, 3 iron, and then 1 calculation processor, which is made using a printed circuit, which is made with another one of of those pure Certus Quartz seeds. And so what we can do actually fairly easily here is grab a stack of Certus Quartz dust, craft that up with a stack of sand to get a stack, or maybe even 2 stacks, I think, of, 2 stacks of Certus Quartz seeds, throw all of those at once into the crystal growth chamber, which is just doing nothing over here. Those should fairly quickly turn into actual pure Certus Quartz crystals, and then once we've got those, turning those into the calculation processor shouldn't take us too long whatsoever. However, we are going to need to have some silicon in order to do that. I'm going to try not losing the silicon, although I want to try something here real quick. Let me put like most of the silicon into here with the silicon press, but I'll keep like 2 in my inventory because I want to know, does the silicon go into the storage drawers? It does. The silicon is being taken into a storage drawer somewhere. Now, I have no idea where that's going because we don't have a storage drawer assigned to it, which is actually, it's baffling me because all of these ones are full. They are. It's not ending up in here somehow. I don't think it's ending up in our cobblestone generator. It doesn't have an internal inventory that we can see. And I'm constantly staring at this top line, and I'm fairly certain that it's not up here. So I have no idea where that's going at all. And I don't think we've got anything like touching nearby. Not too interested in keeping all of that. We don't have anything touching nearby. I have no idea. If you have any idea of where that silicon's going, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. But for now, let me take these out, throw in the calculation press to make a bunch of calculation circuits. And once we've got a good and even number of those, we can go ahead and craft them up with the redstone and the silicon, and that should get us a bunch of the calculation processors, which are going to allow us to make a bunch of these acceleration cards. You can also put these, by the way, into the crystal growth chamber, I believe, to make this thing work faster as well. Not really necessary, I don't think, right now. The crystal growth chamber is already kind of ridiculously fast compared to how long it normally takes to make all of this stuff. But nevertheless, let's grab some iron, some redstone. I think we already had, but we put it all in the Inscriber. That's fine. And so let's see here. Do we have what it takes to make a few of these? We do indeed. We can then craft those up into acceleration cards like so. And now, if we head on back down and put these into our advanced Inscriber, you should see the difference in speed pretty quickly here. They are almost instantaneous, not quite instantaneous, but if I do put in, for example, silicon, printed logic circuits, and redstone, you can see that they very quickly craft up. They're a lot faster than they were before, not quite instant. We do still, of course, have a slot for one more here. I'm not quite sure if they do increase the power consumption of the device. I don't think that they do, but I could be wrong about that. But anyway, now that we can make these processors, we can start working on actually making some useful items from Applied Energistics 2. And the first one that we're going to make is the crafting terminal. This is our bread and butter. This is our entryway into the Applied Energistics system. And to make this, we need one calculation processor, which we have, a crafting table, easy stuff, an Emmy terminal, which is a logic processor we already have, an annihilation and formation core, which are made using a logic processor, a fluix dust, and then either a Certus quartz crystal or a piece of nether quartz, which we actually don't have, so we are going to have to go and get some of that. Although, again, I think we can craft up our nether quartz dust with some sand to very quickly get a bunch of nether quartz seeds if we put those into, the crystal growth chamber. And real quickly here, if I just grab all of these again and put these in like that, I think those are going to grow ridiculously fast. I love it. And so once those are done, we can use those in place of the normal nether quartz. And then finally, we need an illuminated panel, which is made with iron, Certus quartz glass, glowstone, and redstone. It's all super easy. And I think we actually have everything it takes to craft all of this stuff already. And so I think the only thing we might be missing actually is the wood to make the crafting table. And so we'll take all 4 of our remaining oak wood planks, craft those up like so, do something like... Oh, of course, we need fluix dust, not fluix crystals. Again, fairly easy. We can put those into the sag mill, and that should get us the fluix dust super easily. And so if we do something like this take 2 of those, replace that with a nether quartz crystal to get the annihilation cores, and then quickly get rid of some cobblestone because we don't need all this much of it in our inventory. Get rid of that. We should really have a nearby trash can to throw things into so I don't have to keep throwing things off into the void anytime we don't need something. And then finally, if I can get rid of the yet more excess cobblestone that I'm holding on to, what we can do is grab 2 glowstone, craft that up to make our illuminated panel, take the illuminated panel, craft that together to make the crafting terminal, and then finally craft that into the crafting terminal. Nice. Super easy. So, all we need to do now is be able to connect this to some form of storage. So normally what you would do here is you would make a drive cage to store Emmy drives, and we'll get into that a little bit later on down the line. But for now, what I would like to do is I would like to craft up a storage bus, which is going to allow us to access everything inside of our storage draw network over here, anything that can be connected to this draw controller. And so all we need to do to make the Emmy storage bus is get 2 more pistons. One of them does need to be a sticky piston, but again, that's fine. This thing we can pretty much almost make. It's 4 iron, 1 formation core, 1 annihilation core, and 2 glass. That's going to get us the Emmy interface. And so let me quickly grab some more of that glass that I cooked up earlier, craft that up to get our Emmy interface, and then all we need after that is, of course, those 2 pistons. And so let me, again, get rid of some of this excess stuff that I don't need whilst trying not to get rid of everything in my inventory, especially not this silicon, which I'm going to put into here just for safekeeping. I have a feeling that it might be because what the storage drawers can do is they can combine items from different mods that are the same. And so, for example, if you have an iron ingot from Thermal Expansion and an iron ingot from Tinker's Construct, those 2 ingots won't stack in your inventory. But if you put them both in the same storage drawer, the storage drawer mod will convert them into 1 ingot. From 1 mod, it'll just pick a mod and convert them to that mod. And what I think it might be doing is I think the Certus Quartz dust maybe, or maybe something else, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's converting the silicon into something else, which is not what we wanted to do at all. And so I'm gonna have to try and figure out if we can fix that between episodes. But for now, let me grab 8 cobblestone, like so, as well as a little bit of wood. Craft that into planks, and then we've already got redstone, we've already got iron, and so making 2 pistons is going to be super easy. And then finally, of course, we need 1 more of those congealed blood balls, and so I'll pull that out. It is a little bit disgusting, and you can also, by the way, create them yourself just by standing in the Tinker's Construct smeltery. It's a bit of a long-winded way of getting essence. Also, I think we need 1 more kick. I think you get 10 millibuckets per time. Yeah, and I think we were 140, and so hopefully that will be enough. It is indeed. So yeah, you can stand in there. It's a bit of a long way to get slime, but if you don't have any other method around, it's not too bad. And then finally, kaboom, kaboom, and kaboom, we have ourselves a storage bus. Nice. So I'm going to go ahead and put the storage bus directly onto the draw controller. That's going to give it access to everything that the storage drawer has access to. And then if we do this, connect that to an ME cable, and then connect our ME cable to a crafting terminal, like so. All we need to do now is provide this system here with power. Again, redstone flux won't work, but connecting it up to the energy acceptor will. And so I think what we should be able to do here, instead of moving the energy acceptor up, we can run this cable down to the energy acceptor. I should 100% be using my hatchet for that, but what's done is done. Let me just quickly run this up like so. It's going to be a bit messy, but should work out just fine. So I'll run that down all the way along like so. Bit of a zigzag here, but then connect it up to the other ME cable, and that should then begin to send power from the energy acceptor up, around, and into here. You'll know that these are ready when the little lights on the side turn blue. They start off black when they don't work, but when they're blue, it means they do work. And so now we can access everything in our storage drawers from within our crafting terminal. And the nice thing is that for the compacting drawers, we can see the blocks, we can see the ingots, and we can see the nuggets. And so I'm going to quickly tweak this. I like to sort my items by number of items so I can see what we have the most of. I also like auto search on, so that as soon as I come in here, I can just start typing away and searching for things. And so now if we want to craft up something, for example, we want a chest, all we have to do is go ahead and shift click in the oak wood if we had some, but if we don't have some, we can just grab some logs, craft those up very easily into planks like so, and then craft up. And again, I got a stack. I didn't mean to make a stack. The shift-click mechanic works differently in different packs, which is a little annoying, but nevertheless, we've now got access to all of this stuff here. Right now, we can't put anything in the system that doesn't already have a storage drawer, and so I can't put anything in. For example, these chests I just made won't go inside the system, but I can put in redstone because it has a place to go. And so what we would have to do now is either make another storage bus and connect it up, for example, to the diamond chest here, so we can access everything in the diamond chest and then put things in and take things out of the diamond chest. But the more sensible thing to do here is to make an Emmy Drive. To make an Emmy Drive, we just need 2 more of these engineering processes, which we might already have. We don't, but we can make very easily here because we've now got our super fast advanced Inscriber. And so we'll do engineering, diamond, get those done very quickly. We are going to need to get some silicon. That's fine. We've got it safe and sound in our diamond chest, making sure it doesn't disappear into the depths of the AE system. Also, now that I've got this hooked up, silicon. Yeah, so I think it's, all dictionary names, item silicon. I wonder if this works in, I'm going to try something here real quick. I don't think it's going to work, but, so this has the same OR dictionary as this. I'm wondering if we can do, silicon and then skystone? No, I can't put that in there, but it is turning my silicon into skystone, which is not at all what I wanted to do. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. Maybe if I make a storage drawer dedicated to silicon, that problem might kind of fix itself. Hopefully, I can give it a try for nothing, but if not, I might have to find another way of putting the skystone dust somewhere else. Maybe like blacklist it on the item collector and then set up another item collector specifically for skystone dust and then kind of give it its own storage drawer away from everything else so that I don't end up turning all of my silicon into skystone dust, because that's not what I want to do. But now that we've got that, let's come back over to our crafting terminal, craft up an Emmy Drive cage. We can put this for now, I guess like right about here. By default, you can have up to 8 devices connected to one line of Emmy glass cable, so long as you're not using dense cable, if you're using these cables here. But so right now, we've got 3 devices on here. If we want to connect to more than 8, for example, if we wanted a ton of these Emmy drives, we would have to make a controller, but we'll get into that in a future episode. Now we've got a Emmy Drive, what we can do is go ahead and craft up some storage disks. These vary in size from 1K all the way through to 64K. The larger ones can hold more of a single item, but can't hold more of multiple items. So a lot of you will probably already know what I'm on about here. You've probably played with Applied Energistics before, but just for those who haven't, essentially the way that these work is you'll see that they have 1024 bytes and then 63 types, which means that each one of these cells can hold up to 63 different items, like iron, cobblestone, gold, etc., but then can only hold up to 1024 bytes worth of those items. And so it could hold a couple of every item. But for example, if you had a million cobblestone, you might be able to go for something more like the 64K Emmy Drive, because whilst it can still only hold 63 types, and so it can't hold more than 63 different items, it can hold up to 65,000 bytes of those items. And so if you've got a lot of items that don't stack, like these iron ones here and my sword, those all take up one type, but don't take up many bytes. If you've got stacks and stacks of cobblestone, for example, our 82,000 cobblestone would take up a lot of bytes, but only one type. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for everyone who's already played with Applied Energistics. And so I'm just going to very quickly here make one of these 1K Emmy storage cells, throw that into our Emmy Drive like so. And now we can put pretty much everything in our inventory. And by the way, spacebar and left click puts everything from the inventory in the hotbar into whatever chest you're looking at, in this case, the terminal. And if we look in our Emmy Drive, you'll see now we've put 28 out of 63 types in, and so we've got 28 different items in there, and we filled up 288 out of the potential 1024 bytes worth of space that we have. And so we could go and grab, for example, some stuff out of here. We do have a lot of stuff in here that we probably don't want to put in our system. For example, this stone pickaxe is going to take up one of those types, but at the same time is not going to... We don't need it. We can just get rid of this. It's not something we need to keep. The same is true for the hatchet there. And then probably also for like the bow. But for now, I'll go ahead and I'll put all these in. I don't know if we're quite going to have enough space for everything here. We might have to go ahead and make... Yeah, you can see we've already run out of space. We can't put the rest of this stuff here in. Things like these charms are going to take up quite a lot of types and not a lot of bytes. You'll see we are limited on types right now, and so we need another 1K drive. We don't necessarily need another 4K, 16K, or 64K drive. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's episode of Project Ozone Lite there. Between episodes, I'll go ahead and make a couple more of these Emmy 1K storage cells, and I'll probably also backlog a couple of processes as well. I'll just make a bunch of them so that I don't have to... I don't have my charm on me. Let me get out of here. Nope. Where is it? Where's my Enderman charm? Also, where's my hatchet, aka my primary weapon right now? Ooh, that was close. That was way too close. But no, I'm going to make some more processes, so you don't have to watch me do it all over again in episode. And next time, we'll come back. Actually, before we go, I should probably check to see if I've completed any quests today. I think I will have done. If we go over to Energistics Revolution, yeah, we've completed a bunch of quests. Let me go and claim the loot chests here for all of these. And hopefully, we get some cool stuff. So 5 industrial grade graphite ore, okay. Another cave spider charm, all right. More carrots, another gas charm, nature core. Not quite sure what those are for, but I guess it's nice to have nonetheless. And then finally, a witch charm, which I don't think we have yet. Do we have a witch charm? It'll be in here if we have it, won't it? Slime, cave spider, gas, blaze, guardian. No, so witch charm is new. It's always nice to have the new ones. But that is all of the quests that I believe we have completed in today's episode. Next time we might come back. I still want to work on mechanism. We still need to work on getting more power. We still need to get into Subitania to get through the Mana Evolution quest line. More stuff to do in Ender.io. I do want to get into a bit of auto-crafting with Applied Energistics, and so we might do that next episode as well. And I would like to get a good system for mystical agriculture set up as soon as possible as well, so we can start farming all of the stuff like iron, gold, diamonds, and try and get some of those a lot faster than we can with the sifting, and also move on to get some of the higher tier stuff so we can start growing things like Draconium, maybe? Let's have a look. Draconium. Yeah, Draconian Seeds. We can get like really high up and really advanced seeds, which are going to allow us to grow some pretty expensive ingredients, which normally take quite a bit of time to get. But as always, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit like. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.